Twin Tiers Evening News with Jeff Androlonis and Alexa Olson. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, WVTT proudly presents Twin Tiers Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Alexa Olson.
And I'm Jeff Androlonis. Good evening. The big story tonight on Twin Tiers Evening News. We don't know yet if March will go out like a lamb, but it's certainly coming in like a lion. Winter storm watches up throughout the Twin Tiers. Let's begin in Cattaraugus and Allegheny counties, where a winter storm watch is in effect through tomorrow afternoon. A winter weather advisory also now in effect through tomorrow afternoon for McKean and Potter counties in Pennsylvania's northern tier. Over 6 inches. A little bit of sleet, lots of heavy, wet snow in the forecast. Higher elevations in the watch and advisory areas could see over 6 inches of the white stuff, 2 to 4 inches in the lower elevations. Roads could be slick, power outages are possible, and we're standing by at the Operation Snowflake desk to activate Operation Snowflake tomorrow morning if conditions warrant. Tomorrow morning, tune in here to News Channel 25 or to our sister radio station, News Radio 96.7 WVTT, for Operation Snowflake if conditions warrant. Alexa?
Well, Jeff, forced spending cuts will go into effect on Friday if lawmakers don't reach a budget agreement. With more on this story, let's send it over to the WVTT Digital Newsroom, where WVTT's Valerie Tysaner gives us a look at both the national and local effects of this.
Alexa, the FAA says that it may in fact actually have to close 100 small airports across the country, airports like Bradford Airport, if the sequestration goes into effect. Tori Dunnan has the story.
Sun Air Flight 2455, carrying 3 passengers, leaves Hagerstown, Maryland, headed for nearby Dulles Airport.
See you later.
A half-hour trip. It's one of up to 6 commercial flights a day.
Ground, roger, runway 27, taxiway Delta, cross.
Today, there's a controller in the tower, but the question is, for how long?
And 733 Juliet Echo, I have IFR traffic behind.
Virtually every airport faces controller furloughs, but scores of small to medium-sized airports, including Hagerstown, could be forced to close their towers. Phil Ridenour is the airport's director.
And without the air traffic control tower here, we don't have those extra sets of eyes to watch over the airport.
This tower stands 70 feet above the runway and gives flight controllers a 360-degree perspective of the sky, but also importantly, of the ground.
So it's kind of like having a town without a stoplight. You take that stoplight away and it's just kind of a free-for-all.
The FAA says any changes would not impact safety. Even if the tower closes, commercial, recreational, and military flights would still take off and land.
24 kilo above taxi, runway 27.
Pilots would be controlled by a center 60 miles away. For this flight instructor, that poses a problem.
We'd have to kind of revamp our syllabus to get our students to a location where we can be talking on tower frequency.
Some Republicans say concerns about the impact of forced spending cuts are exaggerated.
The sky is falling mentality permeates, I think, some of the efforts here in Washington, D.C. I think that is hyperbole, I think it's exaggeration, and downright on the offensive side of the line.
Back in Hagerstown, business leaders worry what will happen after March 1st.
And their indecision is going to have a direct impact on our bottom line in our community, to the businesses that serve our community. So for us, I think it's just it's continued frustration.
Frustration at airports across the country.
And in a startling new poll, about 1 in 4 Americans actually are only the ones following sequestration. 3 in 4 don't even really understand what is happening. So I thought I would break it down a little bit for you to make sure that everyone understands what's going to be happening on Friday if Congress does not pass a bill. The automatic triggered spending cuts will be about $1.2 trillion in budget cuts, which will encompass flight delays, national parks will close, and what some people are saying is most important is the defense budget will be cut. Let's take a listen to President Obama, who says the United States Defense Department in particular is in jeopardy, and the Pentagon agrees.
But the main reason I'm here is to call attention to the important work that you're doing on behalf of the nation's defense, and to let the American people know that this work, along with hundreds of thousands of jobs, are currently in jeopardy because of politics in Washington.
And it is important to note that no one actually does know exactly what will happen if the sequestration does go into effect. Politicians like Representative Reed is saying that a lot of it is just political posturing. But we do know that in the beginning of March, which is when it would take effect, the effects will be minimal and the more severe ones won't take effect until the end of March. In the WVTT Digital Newsroom, I'm Valerie Tysaner. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Valerie. For more on this story, you can go to our website to read the latest. It's WVTTnews.com. Jeff.
3 patients are suing Olean General Hospital tonight, claiming misuse of insulin pens. It may have caused 3 patients to contract hepatitis, they say. The lawsuits also target 3 insulin pen manufacturers that supplied Olean General with the pens: Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk Pharmaceuticals, and Sanofi Sense US. The hospital announced in January that possibly insulin pen reuse may have occurred and encouraged nearly 2,000 people who had a pen used on them at the hospital over the past 3 years to get tested for hepatitis. Dennis McCarthy, the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the hospital, tells WVTT it's highly unlikely that the patients contracted hepatitis from those insulin pens.
One of Cattaraugus County's 10 most wanted is now in custody. The Southern Tier Regional Drug Task Force says 33-year-old Thomas Donner has been arrested. Donner was picked up after a traffic stop. He was wanted on a warrant for allegedly trafficking narcotics in Salamanca and throughout the county. He's in jail tonight without bail, awaiting court action.
A Bradford woman is facing numerous charges tonight following a traffic stop in Wellsville. Police say 19-year-old Heather Yo, you see her there on television, was picked up after a traffic stop. Police tell WVTT she was driving under the influence, had an open container of alcohol, and was in possession of marijuana. Yo faces charges for driving without insurance and driving an unregistered and uninspected vehicle. Yo was taken to the Allegheny County Jail on $2,500 bail.
Authorities say searches have failed to find the body of a college student from North Carolina who is presumed to have drowned when he jumped in the Niagara River and was swept over Niagara Falls. New York State Park Police tell local media outlets that witnesses say they watched the man hop a fence and walk onto the river ice before being swept over the falls at around 6 p.m. on Saturday. Now, officers say the man left behind some personal items, including his driver's license. Park Police don't typically release the identity of suicide victims, but authorities confirm the man was a 21-year-old student at Houghton College in Allegheny County, which is about 65 miles southeast of the falls. The college has posted a news release on its website. You can see here some comments on Facebook left on their website identifying the student as a junior from North Carolina.
Fundraising has been completed to build a new women's basketball locker room at St. Bonaventure University. The project was started when Bonaventure got a $75,000 gift from John Meisch, a 1958 graduate of Bonaventure, and a total of $300,000 from donors has been contributed to the project. Work will begin shortly after commencement in May. It's expected to be completed before the end of summer in time for the 2013-2014 season. The locker room will be located across the hall from the men's basketball locker room inside the tunnel that faces the team benches. Now, what will the facility look like? It'll include a 15-stall locker room, smartboard and large screen TV for film study and game planning, team meeting room including computer stations, and a modern shower and bathroom facility. In total, it will encompass a little over 1,700 square feet.
An investigation into the sale and distribution of heroin in Jamestown has come to an end after months of investigating. Yesterday afternoon, Jamestown police arrested 2 people they say were instrumental in the sale of heroin. 28-year-old Luis De Jesus Colan and 49-year-old Nefatali Citron were arrested after police executed a search warrant for their home on Barrett Avenue. According to authorities, the two had a large amount of heroin and cash in their possession. They were both charged with felony third-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance. Police say the investigation is ongoing. They expect to make some more arrests. Police ask anyone with information on the illegal sales of narcotics in Jamestown to contact the anonymous tip line.
Reports of a structure fire on Minard Run Road in Bradford earlier this afternoon. WVTT's Josh Hatcher was at the scene. He reports that there was no sign of damage on the outside of the house, but it did smell like smoke. We'll have more information for you as it becomes available. Still to come on Twin Tiers Evening News, our first look at weather, and we do have some white stuff in the forecast. Just how much? We'll tell you straight ahead. Our global news update is also on the way, as well as a look at the WVTT Wall Street wrap-up. All still to come on Twin Tiers Evening News here on News Channel 25 WVTT.